Sovereignty refers to the inherent right or power to govern a people or territory. For example, most people are citizens of a nation, and they follow the laws and government of that nation. They are part of a sovereign nation. Before this continent was colonized, there were lots of people who belonged to lots of separate sovereign nations, each with their own set of laws and government. But then non-native people arrived who wanted the land for themselves, so they made treaties with the native people. Treaties are agreements between two nations. So by signing treaties with the native peoples, the United States government recognized the sovereign status of tribes, treating them as foreign nations, and left them to regulate their own affairs. They also created reservations for most Indian people. Reservations are designed by treaty, executive order, or action of Congress. The United States government declared that the federal tribal relationship would be one of domestic dependent nations, to whom the federal government had a fiduciary relationship. U.S. presidents used to call themselves the Great Father to Indian people. So they made legislation that treated the U.S. government as the guardian of Indian peoples. Most Indian land is held in trust by the United States, and the United States has overriding power over Indian affairs. But because tribes were recognized as sovereign nations in those treaties, they still reserve the rights they have never given away, like the right to govern themselves. Unless a treaty or federal statute removes the power, the tribes are assumed to possess it. And state laws generally do not apply to tribal members in Indian country. So here on our reservation, most native people are members of the Sovereign Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes or nations, and are self-governed. But they are also U.S. citizens. It is a complicated nation within a nation system that keeps Indian law attorneys and administrators on their toes, but preserves a fundamental right and freedom for native peoples throughout the United States.